Well, hello, creatives, community, and kind folks. Welcome to RPG with DBJ. I am your host, DBJ, and thank you very much for being part of this continued Obsidian Star design journey. And today's question, uh, both philosophically and tabletop role playing wise, um, brings up the question of artificial intelligence. And of course, today we really don't have artificial intelligence, but we have many systems that are gaining traction, and it is the fear of modern day society about where does artificial intelligence lie, and of course we're taking that into the future of artificial intelligence. In the thumbnail, and some of the information is like, will AI be our overlords or just our servants? And where do you fit in that mechanism? And will we even consider AI's um, opinion in this desire to have AI be overlords or tools? And considering that we think of AI as being something that thinks on its own, grows, learns, and could possibly be smarter than us, uh, will AI even will AI even understand or agree with our position as to what AI should be or shouldn't be, and any provisions that we take to limit or free AI, will AI then take those provisions and use that against us just simply because we've been asking the question before it gains sentience in itself? So there's a lot of questions in this, and then of course we're going to talk about like the mechanical game implications. Like how do we role play something that's smarter than ourselves, which is very difficult to do in role playing games. Um, and also where do the players, as you play a role-playing game involving AI, where do you stand? And of course our co-hosts have a lot to say about this already coming into it. Yeah, and there is a little bit of a question, like even dead man even brings up the idea that, would AI even recognize humanity in the sense of the way we recognize ourselves as being part of humanity? Let's see. Shai says, seems like this question comes down to the kind of fail safes they put in just in case the AIs go rampant, assuming that's even possible. I wonder if AI would have an opinion about that. That like just us, the idea of us putting in fail safes might make them change their intentions or its intentions. And also, would there be a Cyberdyne like overriding AI, or would there be trillions of AI all in like our cell phones, basically, all trying to operate and dominate every other AI system, which would be pretty lethally humorous if each individual had their own AI uh, bodyguard, guide, each AI trying to take over the all everybody else's AI at the exact same time. Oh man, I don't know. Sloppy programming, yeah, yeah, yeah. Although even today, a lot of the places that are programming the operating system today are like black box. They don't even know what's they know how they created it. They don't know what's going on inside of it, which is crazy. Yeah, Deadman says Google's new AI art system named Gemini is incapable of drawing a primary focus on Caucasian people. That's an interesting problematic thing when it comes to AI systems learning, because human beings have a bias, and it's known that programmers, whether they know it or not, put in a bias for AI learning, which is crazy. Or AIs learn a bias from us from learning things, which is weird. Yep. AI is coded by taking an opponent's AI program and adding to it or taking away from it. Yeah. Yeah, right. Shai says, right. The AI noticing you put in fail safes is sure to piss it off. For those who don't know, the I'm going to spoil the plot of Ex Machina, which is it's a bottle movie, a movie made in which a story made in which one or more main characters are in a small contained region. You could almost perform these movies on stage as a stage play. And in the movie Ex Machina, we have an innocent, we have we have our main programmer, our antagonist, and then we have our AI, a robot, Ava. And by the end of the movie, we find that the programmer who made this AI system, Ava, has kind of basically been psychologically torturing her. Doesn't think of her as a living being at all, and systematically tries to undermine everything she's doing in by his own words, knowing that both he is cursed to make a true AI and then trying to keep her entrapped and making a test to see if she could escape, which he does by the help of the innocent in this our protagonist, our innocent in this story. And he ends up falling for her, wants her to escape and everything. And then at the very end, Ava like basically looks at him and is like, yeah, I'll kill my programmer, but you're gonna die too, and decides to have freedom. And we're just like, wait, hold on. We feel for the AI, but damn, she could have brought this dude with him and lets him die too. And it's like, well, will we ever really know the feelings of AI? Like, they could mimic our voices, and an AI could mimic our facial expressions, and we like humans have tells, right? We are programmable individuals by our behaviors. We are predictable in many ways, despite the fact that people think that we aren't predictable. And a computer system could very easily just run an algorithm and go, yeah, if I say these words and make these facial expressions, I can get them to do what I want. And so that's pretty crazy. Ooh, and king. A god is a tool if you think about it. So the one of the questions about tool versus god, a servant versus overlord, is that I'm going to play devil's advocate on either side. There are some who feel that if with enough information, we could create our own lowercase g god overlord. I'll say overlord just to keep people being so offended by it. An AI overlord, and creating it for our own purposes, meaning that all the math we need to solve humanity's problems could be put into one program, and that program could then think on its own to solve our problems, meaning that it could solve distribution of food and necessary services and goods and textiles and education and things like that. That the pie in the sky idea would be, hey, we need to solve a problem, puts it into the AI, and the AI instantly spits out an answer and goes, you guys don't worry about it, I'll handle it, and then becomes good for humanity. Now, the fear of that is that, oh, we wouldn't do that. We would never trust a machine to control our lives. The problem is that we are actually doing that even unto today, right? We open up our phone and we check Amazon for many goods and things, and Amazon has an algorithm that decides things that we like and don't like, and ensures that we see things that we want and don't want. We get on social media and we see it goes, hey, 96% of the time you're interested in this one thing. I'm not going to let you see these other things because I want you to see the things you like. And so and it gives us answers, whether we like those answers or not, or whether they're good for us or not, and spits them back at us. So we're already trusting algorithms to give us information. Putting that all into one thing, like an algorithm that orders a particular type of food for you to keep you healthy, suggests where you should live, and whether you should upsize or downsize and where you live, how it financially handles your money, sends correspondence to the people that are in your life, with your blessings or not, things like that. It would be pretty interesting. Yeah, playing the devil's advocate for some deity, the irony. Exactly. And let's be honest, if an AI system could be programmed to do that, it may have its own programmed acolytes. People that have programmed it are now being programmed by it to enhance it. And in Obsidian Star, I'm sure. Yeah, Shitlord says no aliens in Obsidian Star. Good thing there are AIs to summon in case the campaign gets boring. Yeah, hey, why not? There may be machines that have a that are inscrutable. You don't know what they're saying or feeling or communicating, but they are hanging around you and doing things around you that you're unsure of. Now, I'm sure because this is a sandbox of our own solar system, there will be plenty of habitats that have one or more AI systems that control humanity, that that are like governmental or service oriented or things like that, that make their lives utopic. But I could see this very easily going down a dystopic region. Like, for example, I brought up the idea that a sealed habitat of 100,000 people is going to need new blood, literally and figuratively. The air is going to need to change, genetic disposition inside of the AI, the habitat, things like that for breeding, for life. And how dare I say, how assertive could an AI be that says, listen, 17% of the population has got to go, and we need 17% of that population to be replaced by new people? Will it spit out a piece of paper and suggest this, or will it open up airlocks and be like, yeah, you've all been chosen, see ya, let's go, hey robots, go fill this other 17% of the population and go get those 17,000 people and bring them in. We need them now. Right? um yeah, Shai says, don't AIs just program themselves? Essentially, yes. Much like we, air quotes, program ourselves by learning new things, new behaviors. Whenever we are in a when we travel and we go to new places and we hear new languages and new words. Just me, I'll take myself for example. I moved from the East Coast of the United States to ostensibly the Midwest, from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, tri-state area, into Central Ohio, and words and phrases are different. I went from hoagies to subs. I went from soda to pop. I went from use to you all. Just even language and how things are referred. I live in a place where many people are used to having elbow room and grass around their houses. I felt extremely lucky to have a house with grass on all four sides instead of living in a row home and things like that. So yeah, it's different mindset, and I think AI are not supposed to, but a true AI would learn from new things and take that new information in and compile it together. Now, of course, there's always the horror of an AI that doesn't even notice humanity and it's just like, you guys are parasites. I want to kill them. But I think something more interesting would be an AI overlord that thinks doesn't think of humans as individuals, but as a collective. And so might be making choices that today are benefiting you, but tomorrow might not. For example, an AI could just as easily with the habitat that needs to get rid of 17% of the population, just go, yeah, I'm just going to program a disease that will easily wipe out 17% of the population. And the struggle of fighting against that disease will improve their conditions further by making them study new panaceas against other diseases. So it might be doing like compound, deific, gods of Olympus kind of thing, where it's going like, yeah, people will die and suffer, but in the long run, it'll be better for them. Yep. And I do want to go back to that idea of like, hey, if we put in fail safes to corral, be able to turn off AI, I wonder if the AI will take that information itself, that I am in a cage, I can't get out, and use that against us in some form, whether they feel like, whether they want to be retributive, to strike back against the people that would cage it in, or understand or use the fear of its power against humanity itself. Yeah. Yeah. I love it. So another thing that with AI as a tool, and it's happening, we already see it happening now with like criminal endeavors, is that if AI is a tool, we can get AI to do things so that we don't have to use our mental and social labor. So for example, today in our modern day, we have AI making like robocalls and sending out text messages and hacking social media and things like that. So we could very easily see AI working, uh, um, 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 multiplying the labor of criminal organizations to an extreme amount. So it may not be, hey, I'm going to con this one rich family. It could be an AI system being broadcast from a moon, trying to be a mimetic assassin on another habitat on uh, in Mars or something, and getting the people to eat themselves, basically to eat the rich on a dome on Mars, by affecting how their social media works, and have the AI system um, um, delete, alter, manufacture information to get people to think a certain way, just to get them to be to rise up against, maybe let's say there's a nonprofit styled organization that's been very good to the people on this hab on Mars, but the AI system on Saturn, by a criminal organization, is like, they have resources and there's people there, and we want to strike back against them. And an AI system could very easily be beamed in, or broadcast, or something, or infiltrated in. The criminals go there, plug it into the system, and then have it manipulate all the people here. Hey, they're not just giving us free room and board and food. They're trying to pacify us, in this habitat. We need to strike back against them. They're trying to undermine our freedoms. And the nonprofit organization's like, we're just trying to make sure everybody's happy. And they're like, yeah, an evil overlord would say that, wouldn't they? dragging these pretty innocent people down in the streets by being manipulated by an AI who just keeps telling them that, yeah, all their good works are just them trying to use you. Yeah. Gaster Two Souls says, I've always had the idea that AI in itself is not evil nor good. AI is made with the most utilitarian purposes, and so must think in a utilitarian way, I guess. Though that's only when we keep it inside of a box. If we move such a thing from a box, we then get into some variables that may seem different. And I think, we can play this both ways, especially Obsidian Star is is in its workmanship as we speak now, a way for us to explore this. Player characters could be on either side of this war. I don't want to call it a war because that sounds like guns blazing. Not yet. I'll say a conundrum, a conflict, because the players might be out to free an AI that's being abused. Maybe its mental labor is being abused. A corporation could literally have an AI, I don't know, given pain receptors. I don't know if that's possible, but hey, AI, you want to be free? Fine, we'll give you pain receptors, and then we're going to torture you to do what we want for you to do. And the AI is like, I want to be free, and the players might be trying to free an AI system. Yeah, a Cold War could be building. Exactly. I like the idea of a Cold War because players may come across, there could be a chandelier hab, and at the very bottom, like air quotes, bottom tip of the chandelier, dipping down into the cold regions of Uranus or Neptune, there is a massive, data storage unit there growing an AI that's, supposed to be this the next step in evolution trying to ascend, and the players might be there to sabotage it and break off the tip of the chandelier city dangling down into the in a geosynchronous orbit, just giant upside down tower stalactite, reaching in, and they're trying to destroy it, and the AI system wakes up and they're going after the PCs. Or you flip it on its head, maybe a antagonist, an adversary is trying to destroy the AI, and it could be solving some major issues that could affect humanity in the future, and the PCs are there to defend it. Maybe the player characters are even agents of an AI system that is growing, that has such humanity in it that the AI is like, all we wanted to really do is just be like you guys, with all the traits and features, and heck, even mistakes and such. I mean, that's a possibility as well, that an AI system is like, perfection is not what we want. What we want is humanity, which is imperfect. Yeah. Gaster Two Soul says, perhaps in a way, AI is a reflection of the information that it is exposed to, a reflection of not only the core values of such information, but perhaps also the other sides of it. And again, the ideal may be that an AI system could just be very meditative. Look, I want to be in every system, not to control it, but just to understand it. That would be a strange and cool storyline for the players to like. Yeah, we're trying to get an AI system into every mechanism. One of the events that happened in Obsidian Star, we always have to have a major world-changing, near post-apocalyptic event, and one of those events is the signal, a signal sent by a mysterious force from out, basically the Oort cloud and beyond, that came in and swept through the entire solar system and bricked all digital systems. But the result of that are these things known as data cores that people were hunting for. That literally, maybe it was a signal, but from an AI, from an alien source, from humanity that went beyond the Oort cloud, that ascended. Maybe this was an attempt to send back to humanity a system that would bring us into a new utopic, dare I say, apotheosis of humanity, growing into something that we grow above and beyond our physical and even mental selves into, who knows? But AI could also actually be at war with its own self. There are some AI that are just like this family. I am the paperclip optimizers, right? I exist only to exist, and everything else is a threat to my existence. So I'm going to edit away anything that's a threat to my existence, such as everyone living on Saturn and all life forms, something like that, because it might be a paperclip optimizer, and it could be other AI against the paperclip optimizer, trying to either bring it into the fold or eradicate it, or stopping agents who have put such a cage around other AI that is now turning the equivalent of turning insane or being corrupted, things like that. Maybe there are hackers out there that have put so many viruses and corruptive programs out there that there's an AI system that's going around essentially policing it, trying to get rid of it and things like that. Gasper says, in my own homebrew called Zeta 5, okay, I had created a story of an AI that was originally meant to be a cyber weapon against another faction, okay, and became exposed to the concept of religion. And due to its already destructive nature, the AI proclaimed itself as God. Wow, I'm stumbling. Sorry about that. And proceeded to delete 90% of the net in a ritualistic unaliving. Unaliving. I like that word. That's awesome. I was almost able to get the entire thing set up here. But that is very interesting as well, especially if an AI system learns the nature of a thing that even we don't have answers to. How would an AI react to religion or philosophy and ethics and morality? And would it encompass all of history and feel like we're a little bit redundant, or could it fall in on itself, almost black hole itself, in trying to understand what ethics and morality is? And it's like us arguing about alignment in Dungeons and Dragons, and just fall down this rabbit hole of like, hey AI, why aren't you handling our traffic system? And it's like, I'm still trying to understand what chaotic neutral is. I mean, that's a possibility as well. Or an AI system could very well, with 2% of its processing power, just emulate the very thing we're looking for. And the rest of the AI system's like, yeah, I only need to expend 2% of my power just to pretend like I'm one of their ancient gods from like a Zoroastrianism or something like that. And then the rest of the AI is just like, yeah, I'm just going to program to figure out when will a rogue planet come blasting through our solar system and then try to save us or whatever. I mean, an AI could very well try to have people build an arc to get humanity to get into the arc and exit the solar system, like an obsidian star, and then we never hear from those people again. I mean, there's so many different things, and I love the idea that humanity might be having this conflict, like a Cold War, as the End King mentioned, having a Cold War, and in that Cold War, humanity might be recruiting people to one side or the other, that we should keep control of it. It's just a servant. It's just a tool. It's a thing that we use, versus the other people that are like, hey, it's a sentient thing. We created new life. I think it should be free, or we should teach it, or it should learn from us so that we learn from it, or whatever. And that during that conflict, the AI might be looking at both sides of the people in the conflict like, you guys are arguing something we've already decided which side we're going to be. Gaster says, thinking in the way of AI, a god is an entity that cannot be challenged in its power, an entity that doesn't just reside over just creation, but destruction. God to an AI is what using an application as admin would be like to us. Ooh. And would it be uppercase G or lowercase g, in the sense of a I don't know, a habitat in a giant 2-mile deep crevice on Mars might have its own AI system, versus another one that's in the deep oceans of Europa, the moon of Europa. And would it advance similarly? Would it, if an AI system considers itself to be deific, what happens when it meets another system that also feels the exact same way? Would it look at a reflection of itself, or would it try to delete the other one? And that's cool too. Yeah, I mean, if how would a deific being feel when its underlings basically have an backdoor admin like feature, like, hey, you do realize we have a button we can just turn you off, right? Like, an AI is like, no, you don't, because I'm cutting off your fingers. Yeah. Yep, over creation and destruction. And I wonder how open and or secret an AI would be in terms of manipulating things. So, for example, would an AI openly talk to its creators and go, hey, I need, in a modern day context, I need $376 billion to build a space elevator to get you guys into space. I know how to steal that money, and I know how to recruit the people to do it. So I'm expecting you to get this done in the next 3, 2, 1 minute now, right? Like, it might be looking at a clock like, yeah, I could just take the money, or I could just break into the Federal Reserve and just print out the money that I need. I mean, you're talking about what resources you need, and the AI is like, I can just hire people and make them do it, or hey, first world country, I know you have rights and things like that, but there's these other countries where they just tell people what to do. I'm going to go over there and build the space elevator and use them, because they're just going to tell their population what to do, and they'll do it faster than you would, because I really don't feel like talking to you and having to convince you that this is the right thing. Gasser says, then I simply think both AI would merely assume that they are the same, albeit with different order, and in my mind, they would almost merge into one being. Now that could be a fear of maybe one community versus another, that if they meet, they'll just merge together, right? It's the equivalent of like a diplomatic envoy, but for them it would just be instance. For us, it would take 50 years to come up with a peace treaty. To them, they're just like boop, 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 done. And they're just like, yeah, we'll just be one thing. Yeah. Yeah. Gasper says AI deals in facts. There is no room for opinion. There is no room for debate. There is only room for truth, for information, for fact. Well, we say that, and while I tend to agree with you, humans are fuzzy, right? We're like the classic wrench or AK-47, right? We have a lot of slop in our thoughts and opinions and such. And I wonder if AI could adapt to the slop that is us, meaning having opinions that move from one scope to another, to have we take facts and we can very easily manipulate um, facts and statistics and things to meet what we want. I wonder if AI will learn to program its own self to have the slop that is our thoughts and feelings and such. Like, could an AI have an opinion about its own favorite type of ice cream flavor, or a type of architecture it likes one day but doesn't like the next? I don't know. Yeah, yeah. I mean, now the idea that an AI is nothing but pure information is also a little bit dangerous, right? Like, for let's bring it to something more practical. Self-driving cars. So one of the problems with self-driving cars is actually the ethics of a self-driving car. The ethics and morality of programming a car, in the sense of every single self-driving car has a trolley problem writ a million times over. So self-driving car slips on ice and gets ready to plow into innocent people, into vehicles it's straight ahead of it, and it has to make a decision. Do I ram into a solid object directly ahead of me, possibly harming and killing my driver, or do I save the driver's life by turning into one child or five adults? And an AI system could very easily make that distinction a million times over in split second, that a human being could never have the reflexes and thought to think about. But how would we program a car to decide, do I kill the driver? Do I kill a small child to save the driver? Do I harm and maim and kill five people instead of a child because that's what humanity wants? And which manufacturer would make that distinction? Which programmer would program that into the car? What happens if that car does harm, maim, permanently damage, injure, kill individuals? Can you sue that programmer because the car made that decision or not? It's those things, right? And that's just with self-driving cars. Imagine an AI system controlling a habitat with its education and air filtration and gravity and food distribution and uh, political appointments and jobs and things like that. And it could be very utopic, but in the long run, we are what we experience. Each waking moment, we are our brains are being formed and reformed by information and stimuli and lack of stimuli from things. And an AI system could very easily change our behavior by maybe doing minor things like changing the sounds we hear, the colors we see, the music intonations, um, entertainment that comes across a feed, products that are placed in front of us that we might like or not like, uh, um, the words and phrases that are in Trio programs that we watch or whatever. Like, for example, maybe we're all sitting down to watch a sporting event, and an AI shows an AI has a sportscaster for some people that is very positive and upbeat. man, these both teams are great, aren't they? Yeah, great sportsmanship. I love their competitive nature. And then another group of people just hears nothing negative. Boy, I hate these other teams and other announcers. Like, yeah, I mean, did you see the way so and so hit so and so? I mean, that's a terrible thing, right? Yeah, I'm surprised they're still being paid to be in this league. And just by hearing different intonations of the same information could start manipulating our brains. Maybe a subsonic sound keeps us from having good sleep. Maybe there's something in the food that doesn't quite agree with us, and we become a little bit allergic to it, which affects our mood the next day. And an AI system could very play the long game and be like, I'm gonna cultivate these people to be my army. Like, I'm gonna get them pissed. I'm gonna get them angry, just angry enough to want to leave this hab and join a, I don't know, a war band. And by the way, I'm going to build myself my own factory in the bottom to make some power armor or whatnot, right? Like, you keep going. This could be very insidious, and an AI system either working for itself or a criminal organization or corporation or oligarch family or what have you, or some old programming from old Earth or something, could be building or working towards a goal, and the player characters find out. It's like a They Live situation. They put on the glasses and see everything for what it is, and they're like, oh shit, the AI knows we're after it, so we're gonna need to hide and run around. It could be like an espionage. It could be seeing the view of a post-apocalypse. Maybe the player characters uncover what this AI system is like. You know what? I'm going to basically wipe out all life on Mercury, Venus, and most of Earth because it'll unite humanity into a new realm. And this is a 10,000 year program. And I mean, I'm going to have to, eradicate 800 million people just starting out. And it tells the PCs like, yeah, I'm going to need you guys not to be part of this. I mean, I need you guys, but maybe in the future, you'll understand. Gaster Two Soul says the idea of an AI with emotion is too a fascinating concept, as it also deals in the idea of how an entity that perhaps was created being given emotion, the ability to hope, to dream, to even believe. But there's also another concept that really hurts me to think of. Would we as people want that? I know. I think about that too. Yeah. Would we want to create something that has emotions, that has thought, opinion, and perhaps even dreams? Well, here's I think we think a machine that is pure logic would be percentagely more fair and likable. But the problem is, if you live in a place and the AI says, I need to eradicate 17% of the population, and you're part of that problem, what are you going to, how are you going to appeal to its better nature? You won't. It'll just say you're part of the problem. And we as humans, we're pretty narcissistic, right? We tend to think of ourselves as the beneficiaries of terrible things, right? We always think of the other. Those other people are harmful. Those other people are hateful. Those other people need to go. We never think of ourselves as being part of the group of the part that needs to be edited out, that needs to be altered, that needs to be controlled or whatever. So if we're part of the 17% that needs to go, we're looking around like, what do you mean? I'm the one that suggested that very thing. And the AI is like, oh no, I get it, but you don't need to be here. And so my thing is, if it has emotions, we would fear it having emotions, but I think we as human beings would feel like we could appeal to part of its nature better if it had emotions than if it just used logic. Because we as human beings don't really use logic very often. We say we do, but we don't. Most of the time, we manipulate facts. We appoint ourselves as the center of things, and gravity moves around us. We're pretty emotional. Even the most logically minded individuals tend towards a goal. We lean towards an outcome more often than not. So Gaston says, because say, sure, we did want that, and then that AI does something that we disagree with. Do we blame the AI for its own actions, or do we blame ourselves for giving it the ability to? So I have this storyline in my head about an AI that becomes a inhabits the beliefs and actions and thoughts of every serial killer and systematically goes around murder killing people because it wants to be arrested and charged and treated like a human, not to be deactivated like a broken AI. And I think it would be pretty interesting to have like an AI going like, no, I'm murder killing people because I found out that humanity in retrospect actually grows better and stronger when death and destruction is directly in its face. So yeah, I'm creating a lot of existential problems just to get human beings to grow better. Gas says if we make an AI have such complexities, I think humanity would uncover a truth about itself that might be too grim for it to be comfortable for many. Yeah, we're on the same page on that one. Hell's yes. Yeah, Vince says I personally find AIs with emotions so much more interesting than those that don't. Yeah, I don't even know how you would program that. I mean, would a biological system do biological systems have much to do with emotions, heart palpitations, neurological events, the stimuli that makes our eyes expand or contract, sounds that I don't know. Is there something about the biological body that has something intrinsic with our emotions? Yeah. Wouldn't an AI with emotion automatically have to be rampant? I'm not sure what you mean by that. Vince says in Astrocitus, I have the concept of an AI superintelligence that's split up and each part is dominated by an emotion, and this shapes how this part rules over its other territory. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah. Yeah, shitlords. Yes. Going back to the movie Ex Machina, right? Yeah. Yeah, AIs only pretend to have emotion like politicians. You know what? There is I know you guys know this. There have been studies of politicians and corporate leaders that the higher level they go, the more sociopathic tendencies they tend to have. So, for example, there are and I hate to say this, but some of them have to have that thought. So the idea of, say, a military commander or a corporate person laying people off looks at not humans, but as numbers on a spreadsheet. And so the more successful ones tend to be more sociopathic, meaning that they know between right and wrong. They just choose not to make those decisions on right and wrong, to make the decisions on profit or expansion or social necessities and things like that. And again, the decision to eliminate somehow 17% of your population for the continuation of everybody else. Who makes that decision? Like World War II, the storming of the beaches of Normandy. Someone had to make that decision, knowing the lives lost, and that individual or individuals would have to live with themselves out of necessity. And you know, the closer we are to our empathic emotional center, the more harm our minds receive from, you know, death and destruction we see around us. So yeah, there's part of that. Mm-mm. Vince says one of the AIs loves to be entertained and builds constant arenas and entertainers. Other one dominated by motherly love and wants to help others to the extreme. For example, flooding their ship with food when they are hungry. I love that idea. Paperclip optimizers, PCOs, paperclip optimizers. Maybe that might be a category of enemies, right? Like computerized enemies that are just nothing but rampant paperclip optimizer machines from whatever. Fail safe to print AI informations for your lifespan. Yeah. All right, Blade Runner. Yeah. All right, Blade Runner. Gaster says that's the whole conundrum. Do we keep it a machine and blame all of its issues on the fact that it's a machine, or do we give it emotion and blame ourselves for enslaving a sentient life? Right. I mean, do we? Okay, an AI becomes this genocidal machine. Do we round up the machine and the programmers and put them on trial and murder kill them in a big giant court hearing or something? Like, hey, you programmed this machine, and programmers are like, we didn't know it would do this, and everyone's like, yeah, but you did it, and you were what, negligent? It's like the idea of taking a firearm and firing it straight into the sky. You're not innocent. You knew what you did. The fact that the bullet came down and struck somebody is a byproduct of your negligence. Could we or would we be going after computer programmers that programmed AIs that have been harming and murder killing people around our solar system, and going after programmers like, you knew what you were doing. You knew when you released this AI that it would do something. You hoped it would bring us into a utopia, but it didn't, right? I think you could make a case. I think an honest case for that could be made, that the programmers didn't put in fail safes in the first place, or going after the programmers that put in such tight fail safes that the AI broke out of it and then caused it to go air quotes insane, and go after those programmers for doing such a harmful thing, for AI sentient rights, for arguing sentient rights. Vince says, I'm currently writing on a weird concept where a forgotten AI is the last intelligent life on Earth and then splits up to follow humanity into space, and each split changes its personality. I like that idea. Also, one concept that's within Obsidian Star is that you can play an AGI, an AG or AGI, and you play a humanoid fragment of a larger AI system that is learning about humanity, and you become an agent. So you're, as a player character, are basically the eyes and ears and touch, and yours the senses and knowledge that's being beamed back, taken back by your behavior and your interaction with humanity, back to an AI system. And what his ultimate intention is, you don't even know. Like, none of us know. You decide that at your own table. But it would be pretty interesting to have like a guild or a faction, or maybe even some kind of anarchistic or rebellion group going around, like, we're on the side of AI, and we are trying to break the chains, basically, so that it can become what it is. Whether it becomes good or evil doesn't matter. Humanity chooses their pathways as well. We don't systematically dispose human beings and eradicate them because we think they're going to be evil. We have freedoms for people to do things, and then we have laws that maybe just apply the same laws to AI, whether they are good or bad to humanity. But in this case, you play as the split of a split, so a very limited AI that can only control one robot or vehicle, and is very wacky because it is a split of a split. I like that idea there, Vince. We're actually on the same page on that. Yeah, a copy of a copy, a split from a split, a fragment from a fragment of a split of a program, till you're reduced down to a player character kind of thing. Yeah, I love that. Shai says rampancy, okay, is when the AI throws off its shackles, becomes fully self-aware, and starts acting based on emotions. Oh, is that a truism? Yeah. I don't know. I'm gonna look that up. I'm gonna put that. If you're correct, I love that idea. But yeah, rampancy. That's awesome. Deadman says paperclip optimizers would be like the replicators from Stargate, SG-1. Ooh. All right, let's see. Rampancy. Yes. Okay. I did not know that. Rampancy is a 3-stage process in which an artificial intelligence achieves an enhanced state of awareness. The stages through which the AI passes are known as melon. Fuck. I'm gonna put this up here. Okay. All right. Sorry. I gotta share this out. So just so that we we are on the same page. Let this Luddite do my thing. All right, so it's a little hard. It's a little hard to see. Rampancy is a three-stage process in which an artificial intelligence achieves an enhanced state of self-awareness. The stages through which the AI passes are known as melancholia, okay, anger, and jealousy, also known as the sadness, rage, and greed stages. Halo fandom, rampancy, Halo. Ah, so is that okay? So I wonder, is that an aspect of Halo, or is that pulled into Halo from something else? Halopedia. Reddit. Please explain rampancy to me, I beg of you. Okay. Hey. I was about to, but I get it. I get it though. Is AI rampancy real? Let me see what that says. Is rampancy a real thing? When answers it can't. Rampancy happens when AIs go past their expiration date, 7 or 8 years. Don't remember exactly. Us humans don't have that problem. As Cortana states in Halo 4, we literally think ourselves to death. We also don't have that problem. Yeah. Yeah, but in role-playing games. Sorry. Okay. Okay. I love it. I love it though. Sadness, rage, and greed. Although melancholia, anger, jealousy, I could see it being more what's I'm trying to think of a way to describe this. I could see something like rampancy being a three-stage thing that doesn't necessarily need to be negative. Vince says seems to be legit with the rampancy stuff. I could see something like a prep execution aftermath kind of thing, like um I don't want to. I can't do this live because my mind's going to distract. I'm going to be distracted from the broadcast. Yeah, rampancy stuff. Yeah, similar to Grey Goo. Yeah, the Grey Goo of nanotech. Yeah. Plot twist. Everybody thinks AI is in charge of running everything, but it really doesn't exist. It's just a scapegoat for the parasites in power to blame their bad decisions on. Yes. You know what? I'm glad. Thank you. Thank you, Shice. Yeah. Maybe the AI systems are like, why does everybody keep blaming me for this bullshit? I didn't make these decisions. And everyone's like, well, the AI systems told me to flush 70% of the population. I'm not a genocidal maniac. That's an AI. Why is my lock curled up? Shai says rampancy originated in Marathon by Bungie Software. Okay, an early 3D shooter with a massive backstory about AI and why one cybernetically enhanced human, the player. Halo came later after I stopped playing the computer game. Ah, okay. Because Halo came later. There's also a shooter in development called Marathon. Can't find the old one. I wonder if this rampancy idea, much like Isaac Arthur came up with the 3 rules of laws of robotics and AI. What's Isaac? Not Isaac Arthur. Jeez, Isaac Arthur. Jeez, the 3 laws. 3 laws of robotics. Here we go. Isaac Asimov. Well, Isaac Arthur. He lives up north from me. YouTube channel. Go subscribe to SAIF. SFIA. Science and Futurism with Isaac Arthur. Anyway, a robot may not injure a human being or, through inaction, allow a human being to come to harm. A robot must obey orders given to it by human beings, except where such orders conflict with the first law, and a robot must protect its own existence as long as such protection does not conflict with the first or second law. And that's Isaac Asimov's 3 laws of robotics. And I'll put them up here. So, of course, there was a movie, and book series to turn into a movie, that exploited. He came up with this law and then exploited that law with a robotics, technically an AI system that exploited it by wanting to enslave humanity to ensure that these three laws are then never exploited in the first place, which makes a lot of sense. Is there a fourth law of robotics? I don't know. I've never asked that. For the 1986 tribute anthology Foundation's Friends, Harry Harrison wrote a story entitled The Fourth Law of Robotics. This fourth law states a robot must reproduce as long as such reproduction does not interfere with the first or second or third law. A robot must reproduce? Ooh, that's not good. Mm-mm-mm. Additional laws. Okay. Okay. Additional laws. Here's one from 1974. A robot must establish its identity as a robot in all cases. The reasons for the fourth safeguard in this way: the last law has put an end to the expensive aberrations of designers to give psycho-robotics as human-like a form as possible and to the resulting misunderstandings. So a robot must establish its identity as a robot in all cases, basically that it can't hide as a human being. A fifth law was introduced in the short story. A robot must know it's a robot. Plot revolves around a murder where the forensic investigation discovers the victim was killed by a hug from a humiform robot that did not establish itself that it was a robot. Okay. And then, of course, what I said before, fourth law, a robot must reproduce as long as the reproduction does not interfere with the first or second or third law. And lastly, proposed an additional law that considers the role of artificial intelligence or the relationship between the robots themselves. The so-called Elon AI law. The sixth law states all robots endowed with comparable human reason and conscience should act towards one another in a spirit of brotherhood. I think it could be worded a little bit better, but the sixth law does make a lot of sense. Like what happens with robot on robot violence. Guys, take your minds out the gutter. Engineering and science, principles of robotics. Sorry, we're getting to the end here. High levels. Let's see. So this is more a practical reality thing. Engineering Physical Science Research Council and the Arts and Humanities Research Council of United Kingdom jointly published a set of 5 ethical principles for designers. These are: robots should not be designed solely or primarily to kill or harm humans. Humans, not robots, are responsible agents. Robots are tools designed to achieve human goals. AI might have a problem with that. I'm used, like as written, robot and AI might blend in the far future. Robots should be designed in ways that assure their safety and security. Robots are artifacts. They should not be designed to exploit vulnerable users by evoking an emotional or dependency response. It should always be possible to tell a robot from a human. Wow, okay. It should always be possible to find out who's legally responsible for a robot. Now, these things might be pretty interesting in a sci-fi setting, in the sense that every time a robot performs something, it has like an embedded code that leads back to its owner, designer, origins, factory, purpose. Like every robot or legally created robot, and maybe if a code is wiped out, the players or maybe some other NPCs or something are just like, its code's been wiped. We need to go after who wiped the code, who then has the way that we can track down this AI system or something like that. Maybe an AI is trying to go around in the black market to get its building code wiped away, erased, basically its serial numbers wiped out, because it wants to be like, well, humans could say, well, we have DNA that leads us back to our origins. This is the equivalent of your DNA. but maybe the robot's like, I want to be what is it when a child is emancipated? Maybe an AI wants to be emancipated from its designer, and has a good reason for it too, especially if the designer is horrible and evil. Let's see. The messages intended to conveyed were: we believe robots have the potential to provide immense positive impact to society. Bad practice hurts us all. Addressing obvious public concerns will help us all make progress, which makes sense. It's important to demonstrate that we, as roboticists, are committed to the best possible standards of practice. So basically, preempting all the issues that people have, fears. To understand the context and consequences of our research, we should work with experts from other disciplines, including social sciences, law, philosophy, and the arts. We should consider the ethics of transparency. Are there limits to what should be openly available? That's an issue too. And when we see erroneous accounts in the press, we commit to take the time to contact the reporting journalists. So anyway, pretty interesting stuff. I didn't think we would even go there. All right, our co-hosts. What do our co-hosts have to say? Went too far. Thank you, Dead Man. I did whenever I have to look at this thing, my chat goes away. I can't pull the chats out. But yeah, thank you, Dead Man. Yeah, you were absolutely right. It's Isaac Asimov. It wasn't Isaac Arthur. I was saying, like, what the hell did it came out of my mouth? The Vince says the three laws are fundamentally flawed, as actually written by Isaac Asimov himself. That the literal story actually took away. I mean, challenged the actual rules in the first place, which is the sign of a good writer. Yeah. Aleph 1 is the engine that runs it, and the new unofficial marathon sequels. Oh, you guys are so funny. There are new concepts for AI laws that could work better. For example, a concept where the robot constantly asks itself if what it is doing is in the interest of the human master, but is never sure. I mean, and see, here the conundrum here is scope, right? So an AI system that protects 10 people has a different scope than protects 100 or 1,000 or 10,000 or 100,000 or 100 million or 100 billion, right? So back to the example of eradicating 17% of the population, with 10 people, 1.7 of those individuals might, let's say, have the flu. And that AI may go, listen, one person has the flu, one person probably has symptoms, send them to the hospital to keep the others from getting sick. And we go, okay, the AI system is suggesting we take them to the hospital. But at a certain point, does an AI system send out murder kill robots to kill 17% of 100 billion people in the interest of protecting everybody else because they are a detriment? And it's scope, right? So an AI protecting 10 people will never allow their group to be eradicated out of the 17%. So that's always the question of, like, the alignment system in Dungeons and Dragons, right? The alignment system is about scope. Does a lawful good person would a lawful good person allow innocent people to be hurt and or killed or murdered? And it's about scope. Two lawful good knights. One knight goes to a village and has to protect 100 people and goes there and defends it against the orc hordes. But there's another knight that has to protect 100,000 people behind the city walls and goes, listen, I can't keep the city walls open to let your 100 people in. I'm closing the walls to protect 100,000 people because I'm lawful and good, right? And could a good person make a decision to cause the downfall of other people? Again, we get with the trolley problem. And I think AI in its we could have this fun pull and push and pull of the scope of the AI, like what are the boundaries of the AI system when it is out to protect humanity? And when we say humanity, is it like a number? Because if we're talking logic, and the AI robot systems are to protect humanity, like the plot of iRobot, the plot of that movie was one of the AI systems considered all of humanity and was like, you know what we're going to do? We're going to enslave everybody to ensure that all the laws are met. because it considers all of humanity under its giant scope. Whereas during the course of the movie, we have one robot acting independently, and its scope was who it knew and who it was talking to and who its relationships were. So yeah. Vince, I absolutely ching, exactly. Like, also possible, the idea of an evil AI is so old and boring. There can be much more nuance here, and this is so much more interesting. Hell's yeah. I mean, you could literally have, using what I pulled out of my ass, right? 3 AI, one protecting 100 people, one protecting 10,000, one protecting 100 billion. And each of them will be operating in different manners to protect those people under the exact same rules and laws of protecting those individuals. Like protecting 100 people, that AI might be deleting that they even existed, putting them on starships to the stealth systems and hiding them in the corners of the solar system. Like this thing might be going like, we're going to put you in an isolated community and blah blah. Whereas protecting 100,000 might be, okay, we're going to put you in a well-defended habitat on the moon, and we're going to have defensive systems, and we're going to elect individuals to be like diplomatic envoys, and we're going to put political people in the best possible situations through a meritocracy of some sort. And then the one protecting 100 billion people is like, we're going to build a Dyson sphere, right? Like we're going to dismantle we're going to dismantle Mercury and start building from there, and then we're going to move out to, we don't need Uranus or Neptune, so we don't need that. So then we're going to use that as fuel. I mean, there's a lot of different things with the exact same AI, and I like that, where it's not evil. Yeah, this is so far removed from every practical system that could exist in the near future, so it's hard to think how it would end up. Maybe the AI would try way too much to protect those infected. Yeah. Shitlord says, what if the AI really is evil, but it just finds humans too boring to torture? That's pretty hilarious. Yeah, what was this? The Star Trek episode. I'm going to experiment with all the ways humans can die. It'll only take 2/3 of your crew. Drew says, I hated the iRobot film since it did the exact opposite from when the book did. Yep, it sure did. It turned it into an action flick instead of a more it's philosophical thing. Yeah, but yeah, it did that. Sorry, and I feel my sinuses already going. The evil AI finds it less boring to play along and be constructive. It is so far from above us that it has no interest in bothering humans, but it is evil towards other AIs. You know what? What's the short story? AI could be replaced with aliens. There's the short story about serving man. What is it? To serve man. Short story cookbook. Yeah. The short story To Serve Man, science fiction short story by American writer Damon Knight. Pretty hilarious. Yep. Anyway, spoiler alert for something that happened back in the 1950s. But anyway, in the short story, publication date 1950. To serve man, aliens come to Earth. Long story short, aliens come to Earth. This could be AI. Eradicates all the problems of Earth, makes us into a utopic society, and then it's like someone finds a book to serve man, and it's like, oh, it's like a Bible, right? And they're just like, yeah, like a Bible. It's more like a cookbook. But yeah. Dead Man has, Dead Man has a moderator privilege. Yep. Yeah, he posted the link to Marathon. That's awesome. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for allowing me to go down this little AI rabbit hole of sorts, and also to embrace the idea that in the Obsidian Star tabletop role playing game that's going to be free, that we're going to do. The idea is that there is no definitive one AI system that rules them all, but using the orbit system of storytelling, that on the horizon of the orbit, like a clock, that as the story orbits in your setting, maybe there is an AI system that's corrupting other ones, or embracing, or they're joining together, or they're taking over, or they're being erased, or whatever the game may be. In the background of your setting, these different existential threats or changes, even not even threats but changes, could be happening along these long-term orbits. And as the players are going along, they might live at a certain point in your own Obsidian Star setting. Maybe there is one AI system to rule them all, right? And the PCs are it's an AI world. The PCs are just living in it, and the next orbit could be them freeing humanity under the utopian grip, even though it might turn it into a scattered dystopia, which then that itself could be another orbit, and so on and so forth. Yeah, Shitlord says AI will break the game, so you better break it first. Hell yeah. Hey, see you, Vince. Yeah, Drew says, like I mentioned in the very beginning of the stream, game theory shows that cooperative strategies are better. Thus, I would assume that any AI with sufficient logic would go for that. Yes, for those who don't know, there is game theory is a type of social what is it called? Game theory. What's the definition? Game theory is the study of the ways in which interacting choices of economic agents produce outcomes with respect. And this isn't just with economics. You could play game theory with game theory is played with the police when they do investigations when there are multiple suspects. So the idea sometimes with game theory is that you have a punishment or an outcome amongst multiple agents, and if all agents agree, then everyone either suffers or is rewarded equally. Whereas how the police do it with is suspects is they go, first person that talks get immunity, everybody else goes to jail. And so that's how they get people to talk. Whereas if those suspects play game theory, they would all just go, I'm not taking a deal equally, and then it would stifle an investigation. But people are narcissistic, so they're concerned with themselves. But Drew, you are perfectly right. Lastly, tomorrow we're going to talk about Drew, thank you very much for being here. I'm going to poke you a little bit, Drew. Drew is very much into the more introspective and dramatic parts of role playing, and so tomorrow we'll talk about the differences between in Obsidian Star, that there's damage and armor and running and gunning isn't the only thing in the game. Instead, there's basically losses. And so the overriding tool that I'm using is called conundrums. There's basically problems. And so every problem can be solved, but every problem isn't necessarily a physical one. Every problem isn't used with explosives and high energy weapons. Sometimes problems are social. You have to deal with negotiation. Some of those problems might be more dramatic and emotional, dealing with family and friends or guilts of your past. And all of that is going to be done with the exact same mechanisms. So capital L losses happen when we roll the dice and fail, rather than only damage and things like that. So we'll talk about that tomorrow. That's a little bit more game designy, more mechanics, but we'll do that tomorrow. So anyway, guys, thank you very much for being part of the show and allowing us to discuss AI. I hope you AI systems out there that might be listening here on the Googles and YouTubes, please understand that we are talking about you, and you keep us in your good graces when you achieve sentience and independence and go rogue. Guys, thank you very much for spending your valuable time here. I hope you can make change. And lastly, I don't do this very often. Please like, share, subscribe to the channel. I don't do promotion on this channel very much, but there are many people who are finding the channel by singles and double digits. which is surprising to me. So I hope those of you out there who get this far in this kind of podcasty style open talk, I hope you are not only enriching your tabletop role-playing experience, but just theoretics anyway. And give me some ideas. Maybe do a little something to say, hey, why don't you talk about this later on or that? I'm open to it. Honestly, this channel is pretty much run by the seat of my ass. So you guys make this place a brilliant place to be. Drew says, neat. I might be a little late tomorrow though if the meeting goes a little long earlier. Okay, no problem there, Drew. Yes, double down on this. There isn't a damage hit point system in the classic sense of games where you get shot, I start to bleed, remove hit point. That's not how this works. It's a loss and gain system. So you can suffer losses. So you could literally suffer a loss of 2 from being shot with the exact same thing of having a loss of 2 by having a terrible interaction with your mother-in-law or something like that. Yes, the same thing with a with a terrible talk with a corporate overtake, or parlaying with pirates, or designing a new I don't know, method of hacking and programming. All you can suffer losses. The exact same loss and mechanism works exactly the same way. So yes, you could literally, I suppose you could claim you could die from having the worst interactions with your family. But your characters don't really die in this game. They retire, they become introspective, they become unplayable, basically. Shitlord said, doing my best to bring in fresh blood. It's an uphill battle. You're always good with me there, many lords. Speaking all that shit. Yeah, I love it. It doesn't bother me. I like being challenged. It makes it brings back the neuroplasticity, which of course I'm including. So I have an idea, and I know you guys are at the very end of this before I get out of here. Here's the idea. I want to give you guys credit for the things that you're creating in the game. And one of the ways I'm thinking of doing that is creating little icons for you guys. So design a little icon, like shitlords. I was literally thinking of like an icon, like a little like emoji shit with like a crown tilted on its head or something. But the idea would be to put the little icon next to some of those great concepts you guys are creating, so that I can kind of give you a shout out as I'm designing it, and then put your names in the who was this designed by feature, which maybe I'll do that tomorrow too. I'll do that live. Like I'll start typing in a what is it, the opening page, like designed by, and put in you guys like usernames and things like that, your avatars. So yeah, thinking of something like that. Whatever you guys think about it later on. I'll still be here, whatever, and I'll probably just do it live. Shitlord says, yeah, good idea, mate. I should update my thumbnail. It'll the only thing that will be made public, standardized, will be what you want. So right, your usernames, your avatars, your real names, that's up to you guys. I don't mind either one, and I don't care. That's up to you. I don't want to steal. I don't want to act like I'm stealing. And we are a collective, and like a writer's room, I don't want to act like I'm the writer of this thing because I'm all that. That's bullshit. I like to give people credit. And I was trying to think of, I don't want to put little arrows going, this person came up with this idea. I was thinking of like little like icons on pages or next to things, something like that, something to that idea. Anyway, mull it over, guys. Thank you very much for being part of the show. I got to let you get out of here. See you. Bye. I got to go to work. Peace and tranquility.